Before PvP and RuneScape had become entirely focused on NH style of pking, which includes praying, teleporting, and luring, there was an honor code amongst most PKers that the community all decided to follow. In the early days of RuneScape pking, most PKers avoided using prayers in combat or pjang fights to avoid being labeled as dishonorable and potentially losing friends or being expelled from their RuneScape clans. Actions that were deemed dishonorable by most PvP clans included teleporting, praying in a 1v1, pjang a fight, luring, or even scamming others. Engaging in any of these behaviors could result in being kicked from your clan and blacklisted from many others. Despite how hard this might be to believe, this code of conduct was upheld for many years and with thousands of players and numerous clans built around this structure. However, around late 2006 or early 2007, the traditions of honor-based pking began to crumble. New clans that did not adhere to this ideology formed to challenge the established clans like Damage Incorporated and RSD. Many PKers that had been kicked for scamming or teleporting would then band together, and just with a few short months under their wing, they were able to rival some of the biggest and most famous clans in RuneScape's history. Returning to the early days of RuneScape, clans competed for control over key locations like Greater Demons or Mage, and after several uncontested victories, an internal ranking system within the clan world would start to shape. During this time period, Damage Incorporated, led by a guy named Jiff, was a dominant force in RuneScape. They excelled in free-to-play wars thanks to their large member base and a ton of 120 plus combat PKers. They also had superior knowledge and organization above most clans. Even in pay-to-play, they were virtually unbeatable, making multi-combat fights look absolutely effortless. The endgame content in RuneScape's early days was basically to just join a clan and battle for supremacy, as PvP and PvM were pretty intertwined due to the lack of additional content like collection logs, pets, or even RuneScape bossing. For all my people that were maxed out in those early years between 2004 and 2007, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All you had to do was pick a clan and attend the events every week. The only alternative to this was to spam kill the Cowfight Queen or KBD. Let's be honest, clanning was more fun and lucrative in the end. The most sought after area of pking in RuneScape was definitely at Mage, known for being the best money making spot, and having control of this area was extremely lucrative. In 2006, for instance, a party hat was everybody's most wanted item, and you could either cut magic trees for about 750k per hour, or go to Mage and farm mystic sets, rune items, and occasionally even those big ticket drops like barrel sets or abyssal whips. Even if you weren't the best PKer or you had a laggy toaster of a PC, just having 85 magic for teleblock and assisting your clanmates with kills would be enough to secure you a significant share of the loot, usually ranging at about 50%. And where do you think the share ITB meme even came from? It all started back here. Given the lucrative nature of Mage, control over this area was fiercely contested, and for a long time, Damage Incorporated held dominance over this location. However, some people hated Damage Incorporated's reign at the top, and some of these top tier PKers that were previously exiled for no honor actions wanted to challenge their supremacy. The Eye had ruled over PvP and RuneScape for a long time, and many of these PKers were plotting against their downfall. Some PKers hated them, some were kicked from the clan, and some of them just wanted to challenge them for competitive sake. This is where we enter aggression, RuneScape's most formidable uprising. AG was formed originally by two PKers, one named 100 Fight Mage and the other named Further Lives. 100 Fight Mage led a group from a clan called NME, which is actually what Rot originally branched out from back in 2006, while Further Lives led a clan called TD, also known as the Dynasty. Both clans initially attempted to rival Damage Inc. at Mage, and for several months, but to no avail, they both paled in comparison to DI's supreme organization, member quality, and large member base. That's when they decided to team up, but this time, they had a goal in mind. They wanted to cut the wings of DI once and for all, and they had a plan on just how to do that. Aggression's main objective was to take down Damage Incorporated. To do this, they would have to undermine DI's dominance, and they would start by destroying the morale of DI members. By utilizing no-honor tactics like crashing DI's wars, using one-item barrage piles anytime they were in clan fights, planting spies, and employing effective 1v1 pking strategies like massing up the entire clan to bait small groups of PK trips that DI members were hosting and stomping on them with full force. Through persistence and a goal-oriented focus, AG would grow at an unprecedented rate, and former DI members that were a core to their community would eventually jump ship and start to join AG. Once AG acquired these new members from DI, their new assets would be able to influence others to spy on DI, thus furthering their infiltration of PK trips for an advantage on the battlefield. But DI wasn't the only clan that AG had spies in. They also had spies in various other clans, and they used this as a stepping stone to build momentum and shift the balance of power away from DI. As DI was focused on multi-combat fights and free-to-play wars for the most part, AG was still building a strong rebellion that would continue to grow until they could match DI on an even playing field. Eventually, AG's reputation started getting around around, and they were becoming a top-tier clan, introducing new leadership roles and expanding their operation with a vast amount of victories under their belt, thanks to the addition of the former DI members like Billy Goat 101, Yuhen, Geezer Punk, and many others. This was a pivotal moment for AG, turning the tides on DI. Seeing a ton of their core members jump ship from any clan would always lead to frustration and animosity, and eventually creates a dominoes effect of more members leaving. Back in those days, there was a website called RuneHead where ranking officials could update a list of their members in the clan, and as the months went on, AG's RuneHead member list would continue to grow. There was a lot of hype around AG at this point, and teams were definitely starting to fear them. Damage Incorporated was not happy about this at all, and they wanted to try and put a stop to it, and that's when they decided to conspire with the other honor clans. DI, RSD, and a few other teams attempted to unite for a decisive battle against AG at Mage. Hundreds of PKers would participate in this battle, and at the time, clan fights were judged on victories based on things like the number of kills, but most notably was an ARMS kill. This represented the elimination of a capable opponent on the enemy team, and was highly seen and regarded as a point on the scoreboard. The other metric that was used to judge a victory was simply being the last clan standing, though this could be complicated by tactics like using rag gear or one iteming, which would just ruin the integrity of the fight and cause the team that's in gear to leave, so most teams just base victories on the amount of ARMS or whip kills that they could get on one another. Following this monumental battle, Aggression emerged victorious, securing an ARMS kill on Damage Incorporated and being the last team standing, a clear, uncontested victory. This was one of the many victories that helped mark AG as the new top Mage clan. The aftermath of this battle was brutal. Damage Incorporated was having a horrific internal struggle, posting about it on their forums and trying to figure out what to do going forward. While researching this video, I was lucky enough to find Yuhen, who actually had the original thread from 2006 where DI's Warlord and one of their top 5 original members said the following: "We have for a long time tried many methods of dealing with AG, and God bless, we have done everything. We have showed the most defiance of any clan and proven to ourselves and the RuneScape community that we were the best Mage clan to ever exist, and we did it fairly by the books. We have fought a long fight, but I think that the fight is over if we carry on down this path." After a long discussion down the thread and emphasizing different ideas to change the way that Damage Incorporated was ran, it was emphasized that DI will not exist in pay-to-play single in 1 year's time if they continue going down this path, and that was a massive wake-up call given the fact that this was the best and most dominant clan that RuneScape had ever seen. They actually almost entirely changed their code of honor strictly just to combat AG. This was completely unprecedented for DI officials, who had always taken great pride in their honor-based pking and never deviated away from it for anyone or anything. In the past, individuals had been expelled from DI over these traditions, so proposing such a significant change would fundamentally alter how DI was perceived as an organization. Aggression exploited DI's honor code to their own advantage, using it to set up multi-combat hits, crash any war that DI was participating in, pray when necessary, lure players, PJ whoever they wanted, log out to evade situations, and set up spies. All of these were practices that DI heavily opposed, and after months of Aggression leveraging these tactics, Damage Incorporated was eventually worn down to the point where they could no longer compete at Mage. As a result of this, Aggression proceeded to dominate single at every pking hotspot, and it became clear to everyone that they had claimed the crown and finally become the first and only clan to ever successfully dethrone DI in single-way combat. While working on this video, Yuhen actually sent me a clip showing him and Geezer Punk working together at the pirate ship. They created a box around their target, and this tactic prevented any of the NPCs from hitting Geezer or disrupting the kill. Typically, most clans would just flood the pirate ship with 30 members to attack all of the NPCs and prevent them from interfering with the kill, but Aggression was able to achieve the same with just 2 people. This was truly groundbreaking for the time. While these strategies might not seem particularly advanced by today's standards, this was revolutionary stuff 20 years ago. Back then, RuneScape 2 had only been around for a couple of years, so players not only had to train their accounts and develop effective methods, but they also had to create these strategies from scratch. With limited communication and the internet still in its early stages, developing top-tier strategies like this was like discovering a goldmine. Most of these guys were just kids ranging between the ages of 13 to 17 with no blueprint to follow. They had to come up with all this stuff on their own. Damage Incorporated was still a force we reckoned with in multi-combat, of course, because of their large member base and intense organization, but it was truly crippling to see how a small group of Mage rank PKers and a couple XDI could take control and single-handedly dominate the entirety of Mage. Aggression would go on to release 7 PK videos in the span of a year, all showcasing their dominance in single PKing, which attracted even more people to want to join. The best PKers in RuneScape were all unified under this one singular clan. They even invented the idea of spectating on kills with Void deborers, utilizing T-beers with entangles, coming up with advanced escape mechanics that nobody else was attempting at the time, and they were even using Godswords on release. So you know AG was hype anytime they pulled up. And that is the reason that still to this day, people are trying to replicate their success on private servers by using their name and cosplaying as the group of pking legends that came and left too soon. Like every other clan in RuneScape, eventually AG would face some leadership issues as well, and ranks would need to be removed. Fertilize was eventually kicked from AG due to conflict with other officials and members, but just like all other great empires in history, things need to change in order for structure to remain. Aggression's reign of dominance would continue until late 2007, when free trade would eventually be removed and multi-combat bounty hunter creators were introduced. AG would disband, with bounty hunter creator changes being multi-combat ragfest, and the only return of AG was briefly in 2008 with the introduction of PvP worlds. Damage Incorporated, however, would remain highly successful and a top-tier RuneScape clan for many years to come. They stayed open through the changes of bounty hunter creators, single bounty hunter creators, PvP worlds, and even dominated in free-to-play wars as well.
Tonight, I want everyone to remember what we accomplished together. For over 5 years, we did the impossible. Every clan in RuneScape was against us, and we rose to the top with standards that were second to none. Because today, Jagex will remember us, but never forget that for half a decade, every single update, every policy they created fought against us. For years, we rose to the top of the clan world to keep our clan world in check in this game. Since we left the clan world, we've seen what happened. We couldn't last forever, and I hope everyone remembers and learns from that.
Damage Incorporated would again reopen for the release of the 07 servers and stay active for many years to come. Eventually they did close, but with their leader Brian still running a clan to this day with over 20 years of infield experience, I have nothing but respect for Jeff and all he's accomplished in RuneScape. The pking world would truly not have been the same without him, and he was far ahead of his time. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below, and an absolutely massive thank you to Geezerpunk and Yuhen for providing me with so much context, forum posts, and genuine authentic in-field information regarding the lore of both of these teams back in the day. Both Yuhen and Geezerpunk were a part of Damage Incorporated at the time and left to be a part of Aggression's initial inception and later became high-ranking members within the clan. Their insights and context were invaluable to creating this video, and it truly could not have been possible without them. If you're interested in more RuneScape clanning lore like this, please make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. If you have some history you want me to cover, send me a message in Discord, and if it's cool enough for the YouTube channel, I'll definitely make a video about it. Also, please make sure to check out my live stream on Twitch. I host pking events every single night to keep the community active and the spark of PvP alive. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.